That's what we do. We just bang away.
Let's address the elephant in the room.
There's an elephant in the room?
There's a spider-shaped elephant in the room.
Oh, there's a few different. No, well, there's at least one confirmed with 2 in the distance.
Hmm?
You know, Toby and Toby and Andrew.
I didn't know that any of them were confirmed.
Bro, come on, stop it.
Bro.
Stop it. When we got the Willem Dafoe Norman Osborn laugh, I had to watch the trailer a second time because I was too busy popping for that for like most of the and in the
to hear the actual line he spoke after the laugh.
Did he speak a line after that?
Yeah,
I thought it was just a laugh.
No, there was like a line. I forget what it said. Like, "Be careful what you wish for, Peter."
Oh yeah. Okay,
that was Willem Dafoe too.
Oh,
and then you see the Dr. Octopus tentacles,
bro.
So I mean, okay, we're talking about the
first off, we're getting the best Spider-Man villains back.
The Spider-Man trailer, but like the Alfred Molina thing's cool, and I guess like they're all gonna be de-aged if they, like Willem Dafoe's probably de-aged too.
That one I'm not sure about because the rumors are true. He's not going anywhere. He's like Norman Osborn's going to be like one of the next big bad guys.
I understand, but they could probably still keep him de-aged.
Oh, you're right. They got the money.
I mean,
they
did Sam Jackson through a whole fucking movie.
That's true.
Yeah.
And most times Martin fucking Sheen's been on screen.
Martin Sheen.
Not Martin Sheen. Well, I said Martin Sheen, and that is not accurate at all. Why did I say Martin Sheen?
Are you talking about Michael Douglas?
I don't know why I said Martin Sheen. Yes, Michael Douglas. Of course, Michael Douglas.
You retard. Oh, my God. Alfred Molina, somehow, there was something about his hair that bothered me. He had this.
They made it very, very comic-ish.
Black and curly and whatever. And in the original movie, it's like this brown. Yeah, I don't know. That might just be like they didn't finish CGI on it or something. But
yeah, it is just.
I don't know. Or it's
just giving us an idea of where they're going.
So one of the things I'm like the most curious about is what happened in Doctor Strange's house right before Peter came over, because it's like cold and there's snow everywhere in the house. They're like literally like Wong was shoveling it, I think.
Yeah.
It's like, what the fuck? Like, all the walls are covered with snow.
But
he's starting a fire.
He's got the heavy coat.
He's got a sweater, like a hoodie. Then
he's got the cape.
Then a parka, and then the cloak of levitation on over that.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
I will say that someone pointed out that it seemed really off-brand for Strange to, like, agree to do this, and even Juan's like, "Don't do this." He's like, "I'm gonna do it."
What are you talking about? That's completely on brand.
But I also feels like, oh, we're only getting a trailer explanation of how this all.
But it's completely on brand. Don't touch the time stone.
Yeah.
Don't read the books.
That's true.
Don't do this. Don't do that. Come on. That's why Mordo fucking bailed on that whole clan of magic.
Yeah.
Was because all Steven did was do what he was told not to do through the whole goddamn movie.
It's been a long time since I've seen the movie, to be honest with you.
I mean, it's and then you don't really like. Then he pops up like in these tiny roles elsewhere, and then he before Infinity War, it's like there's no brand to establish.
Yeah.
Other than like his whole life's been arrogant. Don't tell me what I can and can't do. And, sometimes it works for him and sometimes it doesn't, So
they went a really different, interesting angle of...
And so who fucks that spell up? Is it Peter for distracting
It's definitely
him?
Peter distracting
It almost
him.
looked like him stepping in the spell
Mm-hmm.
and then him naming people was altering the spell, like creating these, like, caveats to it. And Steven was like, don't quit. Because he's like, quit changing the spell. It was like, I think it's Peter,
And is Doctor Strange fighting Peter at some point?
It looked one scene.
That train scene, yeah.
Well, there's the train scene, and there's where he's pushing him out of his body.
Oh, and he's holding some
like
kind
holding
of like mystical orb or something.
Thing. Yeah,
and we know he gets like some kind of interdimensional Spider-Man suit because not only is it in the trailer, but
the toys
already been released.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's a lot.
There's
a lot they covered, and there's a lot that we know is happening.
That trailer did more than the amount that it gave us was how much in volumes it didn't give us, like how much they're holding back. Because I even heard a rumor and maybe it's bullshit that there's that they're gonna have a multiverse Illuminati, and they were just naming this. They were I was just reading about this today, and it was gonna have like Mordo in it, and it was gonna have Captain Carter in it, and it was gonna have Monica Rambeau in it, and
This is the first I'm hearing of it.
and it was gonna have Professor X in it.
Ooh.
Yeah, so it's just yeah. So I don't know. No say. No say.
Yeah.
It could all be bullshit. It was just something I read today. But the thing I keep having to remind myself that I keep fucking forgetting, and it's not important for Spider-Man, but I for some reason, I keep forgetting the most important thing is that Sam Raimi is directing the Doctor Strange movie.
Yep.
And I read some comments from Cumberbatch the other day where he put Raimi over like $1 million fucking bucks. Sounded like he would never turn Raimi down for another project ever again. That was how glowing of a fucking
You know what makes me happy,
one
Ben?
sentence.
It makes me happy that the guy who created the modern superhero movie finally has the ability to make a movie without the interference that he was probably constantly dealing with on set.
What's
with Sony.
interesting
Like he has that freedom now.
What's interesting is I think he and the director Spider-Man have had a lot of communication back and forth, because they're using some of his cinematic characters and stuff, but also in terms of like figuring out how to hand off from one movie to the next. But it's not so much that he's created the modern, because that's a real debatable.
Spider-Man 2 is still one of the best superhero movies ever made.
That's what I'm saying. Aside from creating like the modern superhero movie, he to this day made the best superhero movie.
Yeah.
That's where I was getting.
He got it right.
Especially since he cast
I watched it.
Since he cast Joey Diaz in that movie.
We watched it.
Diaz still talks about the tremendous amount of waste on a Sony shoot.
Yeah.
For that spot in that movie, you know where he was, on the subway.
Yeah.
Where he's like, you got to go through me. He said that they literally had him there for 2.5 weeks. Waiting. Is today the day? Not yet, Joey.
Yeah.
We're not going to use you today. And he was just stealing shit and eating food every day on the set.
It was we watched the extended cut a week ago because Nat really wanted to see it. That movie, first off, that movie holds the fuck up.
Yeah.
And second off, it makes you forget how good those first two Spider-Man movies were.
Yeah.
And probably how pissed Raimi was that the studio basically hijacked that third one, and he never got to make the fourth one he wanted to make. It makes
What would that have been anyways if he let them hijack his third one?
That's why he never came into fruition. He walked away.
What would have been keeping them out of his fourth one anyways? I don't know if that was that the case?
Yeah, that's the case.
I don't know if he walked away.
So what happened was the third one came out. They did a little bit of waffling back and forth. He came up with a script. I've seen some of the animatics. Vulture, Black Cat. It was Vulture, Black Cat, and somebody else. And they got to the point where they were going to start talking. I think they were going to start talking about like pre-production. And then Raimi realized, he's like, I can't do this with you people anymore. Like, he just couldn't work within the Sony system and what they were, after what happened with the third one and what they were trying to make with the fourth. And he's like, you know what? I either make my movie or I don't, kind of deal. And that's why Amazing Spider-Man, because remember, that movie got hot-shotted. Like, Raimi left, and they're like, well, we have to make a Spider-Man movie to keep the rights.
I don't think so.
Yeah. That was the whole deal. That's why Amazing Spider-Man got...
I don't think the clock ticks that quickly.
That is why Amazing Spider-Man was made. And then...
Well, eventually you have to make something or you lose the rights.
That was the deal.
But I don't think it was...
Well, time had gone by.
Yeah.
Time had gone by, because that was like 2000... when did Spider-Man 2 come out? Spider-Man 3 came out in 2009. And I think this is like 2013, 14. So, like, they were on...
5 years.
Yeah, they were on that time wheel. And then Amazing Spider-Man was basically thrown out there just to keep the rights. People liked it. And then they tried to go way too over the top with Amazing Spider-Man 2. Now, we get one little snippet of Electro. We just get
Well, everyone's doing the Mephisto point. I mean, this has definitely way better odds of being Electro. But just because you see some lightning bolts doesn't mean it's
Plus,
Electro.
there's a scene in the trailer where
we do know Jamie Foxx is in the movie.
Yeah,
so
Peter.
It makes sense.
Where we see Peter react to something in the sewers, and that looks like the Lizard, and he might just have a see him and hear like appearance. But I mean, you looks like you're going to get snippets of all these past villains. I hope to God we don't get fucking Raver Goblin.
Well, this is I think what, I don't know if this was someone's crazy theory, was that the spell is seeking out anyone that knew Peter was Peter, regardless of the universe. And because the spell didn't get finished, it found all these people, but it didn't erase their memories.
Oh,
or maybe the multiverse people didn't.
And now they're seeking him out, or maybe this.
Or they got brought here.
Oh shit!
You know what I mean? I don't know.
Oh my God! Just a world full of people who only know.
I don't
Peter
know.
Parker.
Or Peter's getting thrown into those worlds.
Yeah.
Maybe they don't all. Maybe they don't all come together.
What will answer all these questions is when we get the other half that the trailer didn't show us.
Well, when the movie comes out.
Yeah.
But you've seen the news pictures of like Kirsten Dunst and what's her name from Daredevil hanging out.
That's another thing
in New York.
There's the two little tidbits that might have been Matt Murdock in the trailer.
I don't think he's in the trailer, but
he's the guy slamming the paperwork in front of him.
No, I don't think so because someone analyzed the body structure of that guy.
Of course they did. Of course
they looked
did.
And he has like a fat roll and shit.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
And a bit of a little bit of titty meat, you know. Isn't
it great we live in a society where in under 24 hours the internet will have a trailer torn down to like everything,
every frame.
Every frame.
They're looking for anything. It's cool because I don't do it, but I will watch the results of their hard work.
Have you seen Shang-Chi yet?
Have I seen it?
Yeah.
It's not out yet.
Oh, it's not?
No, it starts in September.
Oh.
Hits the theaters. I'll go. I won't go the weekend of. I'll go like Tuesday during the day. Just some fucking random during the day, less people.
Yeah.
First of all, I'm not waiting in line to see a movie ever again.
Yeah.
So, God forbid there's like a line. Like you buy your ticket and there's a line. I guess nowadays we've eliminated a little because there's a lot of theaters where you buy your seat ahead of time.
Yep.
So there's no reason to wait in a line to get a solid seat, you know? I don't know. But I truly, in the state of Florida, don't need to go to a packed showing. You know? So I'll wait, and I'll go
like
later
Tuesday
in the day.
at noon or something.
I'll go to, like, the theater I went to last time, that AMC that had, like, the reclining seats, and they're, like, it's like you're next to one other person, which would probably be my brother I'll go with, and then there's like extra space between the next seat. Not that I like, you know, and then there's like big rows.
It's a good theater
between each rows, so that like I don't have someone coughing on my head. I don't have.
Yeah, because even if you're sitting right next to somebody, they're almost 6 feet away from you.
Yeah, in this theater. So it's not like I'm super paranoid. About being sick, but at the same point, it's like whatever. You know, if I'm vaccinated, so, but it doesn't mean I still need to get sick. You know, so fuck it.
Anything you can do to avoid that, yeah.
Plus I hang out with you, and you got a baby. Don't worry about a baby. So whatever.
The wife and I have talked about definitely getting this, having my mom watch the baby for Spider-Man.
That's fucking.
But
like
I don't know
4
about.
months from
I don't
now.
know about Shang-Chi. I don't know if we can do that with Shang-Chi.
You just leave your wife and you go with me.
Jesus Christ.
You tell her you're podcasting.
Oh my goodness.
For 2, you're going to be podcasting for 2, like whatever the runtime of the movie is. We'll add a half an hour to it. Say we got to do some podcast for 2. Well, somehow I'll block your mother-in-law from listening to it so she doesn't rat you out.
Oh my goodness.
And then
none of that's gonna fly.
I'll listen. You might have to watch a bootleg because it's gonna have to be, or either that or I'm gonna have to have someone else sit in for that podcast.
Yeah. Because
we're gonna have to talk about that movie. I have a feeling it's gonna be phenomenal.
That's what all the reviews say.
So,
but we can talk about things that I have seen.
Yeah, but
we're 2 weeks behind.
You're like, It's so hard to get you to watch anything.
What? All the fucking what ifs.
2 half-hour fucking cartoons. What a fucking accomplishment you've done in the last 2 weeks.
Listen, man.
Listen, Mazel Tov. I
I almost sat down to catch up on Titans to watch, so I could catch up to season 3 because Kevin was talking about it, and I was like, oh well, I'll watch it just so we can talk about it. But I'm looking at the fucking Titans thing. It was like 45 minutes, 57. I'm like, I don't have the time to.
How many have you watched?
Like 2 episodes, and I forgot them. I have to rewatch the whole
season.
Yes, yes. So I'm like, I don't want to put this kind of time in.
Yeah, I'm all caught up on season 3.
Yeah.
Titans is the kind of show that's like fine.
Because he's talking shit about he's like this is like the worst Batman ever, and I'm like, I don't know, I have no concept.
It's not like it's a good show. Well, first of all, I've never been a Titans guy. I'm not a DC. I'm more of a Marvel guy than a DC guy. And in the DC universe, I've never been a Titans guy. I've never been a Batman guy. I'm more Team Superman. I think I like those stories better. Batman's just overkill. They've done everything with that goddamn character already because he has like 80 titles every fucking month.
I thought that
there's nothing new to contribute to
when
that,
I was
as far as I'm concerned.
when I was getting out of reading comics at that time, they were doing the whole Batman corpse, where like the fucking
that wasn't bad because of the writer.
No, I liked it because I'm like, well, that's a fresh new like take on the whole thing. Like I'm sure this, and then they.
Well, that's where we are with Superman right now. Superman, we're at in two mediums. We're doing something brand new with Superman. In the TV medium, he's married and has twin boys that are like fucking 16, 17 years old.
So they're just discovering their powers.
Well, one has powers, one doesn't.
Oh, okay.
But he's been married for a long time with Lois. They're like starting to get close to middle age. They're like in their 40s. We have never seen an extended take on this. So it's brand new, fresh, and it's actually really well made. It's a good show. I mean, any like formulaic weekly TV,
it's gonna have its issues, yeah.
Especially like a WB one, where it's like if you were doing it on like HBO or Netflix, it might be more of like a series arc instead of episode arc kind of thing. But for network TV, it's different. But that show's great. In the comics for Superman, they aged up his kid. I think Bendis likes to do this. They aged up his kid. I hear a rumor he may swing both ways now for diversity's sake.
Who, Superman?
No.
The kid.
Superboy, who they're calling Superman.
Whatever.
This is where the Bendis thing comes in, where like Bendis with Spider-Man introduced Miles Morales, and then they up in the same universe, they're patrolling the same city. They obviously have different neighborhoods, but they call each other Spider-Man. Mm-hmm. They're both Spider-Man, you know? That's what they're trying to do with Superman now. Is the kid isn't Superboy. He's Superman. He's, I don't know, early 20s maybe? They quickly seasoned him. He spent time with his grandfather out in space, and then he ended up in the Legion for a little while, and now he's back. So he's worldly, and he's blah, 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 all this shit. They're calling him Superman, and even in like the most recent issue of Superman kind of pulls him aside and tells him like, listen, I may be gone for a little while. I need you to be Superman, and I need you to be better than me, and yada yada. So it's almost like they're either going to have two Supermen telling stories, one on Earth and Superman will be off doing. But if they kill Kal-El, or Kal-El's gone for a while or something, I have a feeling it has to do with the ownership rights of Superman. And they're trying to create a new Superman that isn't owned by Siegel and Schuster. Oh. And it's not Superboy grown up to be Superman. It's Superman's son that they've created. It, like you could have, like the original Superboy is also owned by someone else, and it's a tricky thing.
But this won't be.
And it was just a young Kal-El. This is Jonathan Kent.
Yeah.
This is a new creation owned by DC. Yeah. One day they may just go, he's Superman. And if they do it right, no one's going to complain.
Yeah.
They're going to go, okay.
And then they can kick Schuster and Siegel.
They don't have to keep cutting
checks.
monster checks.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's still tricky because you have movies that are based on. But even that now certain things make sense why they're trying to do one of the black Supermen in a movie, and it's not. That's why it would have been done to be a black Clark Kent.
Yeah.
Because then you have checks you got to cut.
Yeah.
Now, granted, you're still gonna listen. Bendis did all this. He's gonna get a check for this, but they own it's still like it's a royalty thing, not a he owns it and they're least. Bro, they use Superman, the Clark Kent Superman, at the permission of those families now. Basically, they're under like they've written a contract or whatever, but at some point they're gonna have to renegotiate. I think sneakily, without anyone knowing it, they're trying to create a new Superman that they don't have to.
Yeah, that's what
they don't have to answer to these families for.
They're just cutting them out entirely. Yeah,
and it's pretty clever. It's good. I mean, listen, it's good business. It's whatever.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do?
Listen, that cash cow can't keep flowing forever, buddy.
I mean, it does. But like you look at Disney. Think about Disney also.
Well, look at okay.
Hold on. Do you ever see Mickey on the branding for Disney anymore?
Every now and then. It just depends what it is.
He ain't part of the logos for it's the signature now. Yeah. It's not Mickey. It's rarely, I don't think it's ever even the ears anymore, really. And I'll tell you why. Because that's about to become public domain. They've passed laws twice to kick that can down the road. But that Steamboat Willie is I think it's either has just become public domain or is a cunt hair from it. Now, granted, they don't call him Mickey in that.
Yeah.
But whatever they did call him Mickey in is close to becoming public domain at this point.
It was 100 years, right?
Something. I don't know. I don't know what it is. I don't think it's that long.
Oh.
I don't think it's that long.
Well, Disney has its own issues right now, so
I don't know about
that. I could go on
but
forever on that.
I'm just saying with the same thing with the Superman thing. It's I mean, I don't know how much Mickey Mouse product they create these days. They don't have a Mickey Mouse TV show.
Disney branding,
the branding, I don't see Mickey.
There's a lot of
I don't see Mickey on shit.
Mickey's all over the fucking place.
Well, I don't go to Disney
exactly because you don't go.
But most of the world doesn't go to Disney.
But when you
put on the fucking app, it isn't Mickey waving to you when you fire up the app. When you go to, I'm just saying, I think it's a signature now on things. I don't think when you look at a T-shirt that's got Disney product on it. And you flip the tag up, it has Mickey on it. It probably has the Disney logo on it.
No, it's like the castle with the ears. I forgot what it looks like now because we got something. We got a few things for.
But they'll phase that out too.
But that's all a corporate decision. They don't own it. That's owned by them. Mickey is owned by them.
For now.
Well, all the Disneys are always been employed by Disney. I mean,
no. Oh, I thought you meant Mickey. Mickey's not. Mickey's about to go. Be like anyone can use that fucking rat.
I assure you, they will find ways around that.
That's what the last 40 years have been.
Yeah.
They created this law that extended it's called the Mickey rule or the Mickey law, and it extended the time frame for how long until public domain, and then they passed it again to make it even longer, but they're out of fucking time.
I will definitely have to look that up because that's interesting. I would like to know.
They're out of time on that.
It doesn't matter. Disney pretty much brands itself differently depending on its department, what it's going for.
The mouse is definitely not.
It will always be the House of the Mouse, but they'll just find ways to keep Mickey. Mickey, at least in the parks, he'll have a gigantic presence.
No, they're still using him, but I'm just saying, don't be surprised if you don't see Mickey Mouse elsewhere.
But international branding, yeah, I understand where you're coming from with that. So, I don't know. All I know is you talk about the creators and stuff like that. But remember, DC, man, they treat their different because remember, I just the whole thing with Ed Brubaker and the Winter Soldier and how he made Bucky into what we know him as Bucky.
Yeah, I think
Barnes
we talked
now.
about this before.
Did we?
But yeah, we did.
Okay.
But yeah, I get it. I mean,
they wrote him a $50 check and a coupon to Chili's and said
$5,000.
Yeah, that's the standard. I think everyone gets $5,000 if their characters are used in a movie.
If they're asked, if they ask for it, I think you have to ask for it.
You have to
I don't know. I mean, whatever. I understand both sides, but
yeah.
I understand both sides, but it's like you knew what you were signing. You know what you were doing when you were taking the paychecks.
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
You can't come back all this
well,
time
you
later.
can apparently. I mean, times change, and now they got to pay. Whatever.
I think the Superman thing was always different.
It's because they did have a court decision on it. I think there was a court decision on there. Like, no, the family owns it, and now you have to work a deal out with them, and they did. But I think this new Superman is. I think this whole process over the last, I guess it's been the last 3 or 4 years where he has this kid.
I wonder if they would still, even if they didn't owe the families anything for like the characters, they'd probably still have to pay them something for the name. Don't they own the name Superman?
I don't know.
That's the one thing, like the origins and everything. Like, yeah, we this is a whole new character, wholly created by us, no involvement with you whatsoever. But you still have the name. But maybe that goes away too at some point.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. Like,
I don't know.
You read all that shit, so I would assume that you're probably going around the right way of thinking, where they'll probably
it checks all the boxes.
It does, and they've probably done this in the past before. I'm sure there's examples.
So fuck it. Let's go to What If, because this is now we're getting in the weeds on stuff we have no idea about.
Oh,
with the copyrights and the
literally we don't know anything about what we're talking about.
Logos and the names.
We are just operating solely on like
Well, I didn't think we were going to talk about that, or I would have. It just came to me when we were talking about.
So like 2 What If episodes have come out.
That you were
you
were not ready to talk about, or we didn't talk about the other one last week.
The Chadwick Boseman. That's right, because we were talking about
wrestling,
return of wrestling. So we have the Chadwick Boseman one. So we'll spend some time on that one.
That one, with 3 out, it's good for perspective because I think the first 2 were very similar in one way, and then the third one was different in another way. The first 2 episodes were literally like if someone else was his character, and then the episode becomes how every character is different because of that. And while still following some kind of like similar storyline that the regular MCU went. This third episode,
well, that was a real what if.
Nobody. It wasn't like what if this person was this person instead. You know what I mean? It was everyone was who they were supposed to be. And they couldn't call it what they wanted. If this was a comic book. The title of the issue would have been, "What if Hope Van Dyne died as an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D.?" But that gives away the surprise. So they had to call "What if Earth's Mightiest Heroes?"
And I like that. I like that. Who done it kind of idea. I loved it, man.
But let's go back. But I was saying that. Let's stick with the Chadwick one, though.
Okay, yeah.
I was just saying, compare that those 2 were the first 2 episodes, the basic idea of the episode were very similar, which they probably should have put them back to back. Because then it kind of makes you expect that for the rest of the series.
And then episode 3 happens, you're like, whoa, this is
right.
Yeah.
So it was a little bit of like a shock.
Like you almost felt they could have switched 2 and 3 out.
They did their best job to make Star-Lord the complete opposite of like a Peter Quill style. It was like everything Peter Quill would do, Chadwick Boseman's character or T'Challa's version would have done the exact opposite.
Well, it's like as the character of Star-Lord that Peter Quill thought he was what Chadwick Boseman's Star-Lord was. Where it's like, hey, I'm Star-Lord. And instead of getting the reaction of, who the fuck is that? You get the, oh my God, it's Star-Lord, like the Star-Lord, like that kind of shit.
This was their tribute episode. It was like they did everything to punctuate the fact that T'Challa in the Marvel Universe and Chadwick Boseman playing the character was the best of us, the in every aspect, in every word, in every sentence.
It was pretty heavy-handed.
And every deed. But it works because it's a 30-minute what if? And then you're on to the next thing.
Yeah.
You know, so as heavy-handed as you want to go, it's fine. And I don't accept arguments of like, oh, that Thanos. A lot of people did like the Thanos thing.
I didn't.
And I'm like, in a multiverse where there is no limit to the number of variations of the way things can be, everything can be. So there is a world where Thanos is like that, like it or not. There's probably plenty. It's probably more of a nurture versus nature thing, but not it in this story. It wouldn't be, but it's a lot of comedy in it, and part of that was Thanos, where he keeps bringing up, he still thinks it's a good idea, and they're like, no, it's genocide. That's that I don't have a problem with it, and I like in What If. I prefer if you go off the rails with it because that's the idea.
They did, man.
That's the idea.
And having all the voices that's a great thing is all these characters are voiced by the people. So
most of them,
yeah. Especially in like the first two.
I think Batista was like, I wasn't even asked. It's like, you bitch about stuff enough, they're not going to ask you to do the little things.
Yeah. Yeah, there was a little thing, with the whole Guardians 3 incident, where Batista.
Yeah, but even that, he's like, I have no interest in doing anything after the third Guardians.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm retiring the character. Well, then we're not going to ask you to do extra stuff. We'll find a talented person to ape your voice.
But all these, the animation is just, I can't get over how good it is.
Beautiful.
I just can't. And like, they make these decisions that are just so good. Like, the Bozeman stuff is all good. I loved that the collector's just sitting there with all kinds of different fucking body modifications.
I loved his design, like his
Yeah.
sort of redesign where they buffed him up.
It works.
I love that character. I really love that character. I would like to see more of that character.
It really, really works. And then like episode 3, they took Ruffalo and and Edward Norton and made like this amalgamation just because where the Hulk is on the timeline.
I don't know if he.
That was not fucking Mark Ruffalo, sir. Maybe Mark Ruffalo back from fucking Collateral Damage, but not Mark Ruffalo now. It kind of looked like
you cheap hack.
Because
I'm sitting here watching it
I
on
know,
TV. You walk in.
I'm taking
You
credit
see
for
this-
knowing anything about that movie.
Greasy-looking young Mark Ruffalo, and then you decide to just throw it in as a reference as if you're like some seasoned cinemaphile. You hack motherfucker.
No, episode 2, like the Thanos thing, but you're right. You're right. In a universe where anything is possible and needs to be possible. So, okay, but it did throw me off a little bit, and I was just like, but the rest of the episode I absolutely fucking loved. I loved when he went back to Wakanda. They did a lot of really good referencing of characters without.
Nebula was a great
Yes.
reimagining.
Yes, she
too.
was. Like they just reimagined all these different scenarios and all these different characters, and they do it in a really good way where it's just like you immediately go, okay, cool. Like they don't. There's not a lot of fat on these.
Like I'd love to
episodes.
see live action that Nebula. Like have Karen Gillan with the blonde hair, and blue skin, and kind of like a confident, sexy, like a totally different character, totally different look. Just in something. Doing something. I wouldn't be surprised if they dipped their toes a lot.
Well, there's a lot
into this.
There's a lot of rumors that this What If universe is going to be self-contained as everything we're seeing. We're calling back to these eventually. Like there's some linear focus, I think, moving forward.
So it's not self-contained.
Not self-contained within the universe of the What If universe that we're watching, because there's more than there's another season already announced, but not self-contained where it doesn't. I believe it'll never interact with the cinematic universe.
I think it is. I think they have plans for Captain Carter. Like I was saying, that Illuminati thing.
Yeah.
But it's good. There's a theory that there's a Captain Carter in that. There's a Carter was in Loki in the background.
Then that makes what they did.
escorted off.
That's what they did. Then that makes what they did in episode 3 even smarter by killing off everyone else. And it was kind of like we're like
You know these aren't all in the same universe.
the what ifs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so say, who cares that they killed everyone off in this
Yeah.
universe or that universe?
Yeah. So yeah, of course not, because fucking he uncovers Steve Rogers at the end of episode 3,
Yeah,
and then Brie Larson is there for some reason.
because he needs people to fight.
That's gonna be interesting with Loki. I like that gave Loki everything. Yeah, Loki wins. This is the episode where Loki wins.
Well, because
without having to do anything.
that's why the Avengers in the comics
Yeah.
and in the first movie were formed
Yeah.
to combat Loki and his.
I thought it was interesting how they
schemes.
killed everybody off. Okay. When did you know it was Pym?
When she's, when it was him, I don't know. I knew it was one of the shrinking characters when she said it's all about hope. It's hope. It's all about hope. You think it's them when she's fighting the invisible thing, but so a few seconds earlier, you're thinking like, who can this be? Is it You're racking your brains to think of an invisible person. You know they're not going to introduce someone you have no idea who it is in a what if episode, because all these people have to have seen it in the MCU. So you're thinking, what invisible characters are there?
Yeah.
Ghost or something like that. And so across my mind, it could be Ant-Man. And then when she's like, hope, it's all about hope, you're like, oh, okay. And then you think it's her. Like she's got screwed by S.H.I.E.L.D. and she's pissed at everyone. And then I didn't know it was
Michael Douglas.
Hank
Yeah.
Pym until you hear his voice.
I knew it was a version of Ant-Man and Wasp when Thor died. When fucking Hawkeye's sitting there like, that never happens. It never happens, and I'm like, well, the only thing that could make that happen
But
is
that could be mind control too.
well, yes, but I thought to myself, and then when they found him dead in a cell, I'm like, oh, come on, man, come on, they're gonna do the fucking, the grow inside fucking brain, embolism or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it was such a quick.
But I didn't know why.
The quick pacing of it.
Yeah.
You don't have a lot of time to run through all that. I mean,
I kept
also like scrolls could be an option of some kind, or
I wasn't even thinking
who
scrolls. I
knows,
wasn't thinking scrolls at all.
could have been one scroll that kept looking like a different person.
I thought
to do
initially
things.
it was Michael Douglas. I mean, I thought it was over. Not Hope. Holy fuck.
Janet.
Yeah, I thought it was gonna be over Janet's death,
Well, it is. He lost both of them.
yeah.
To Shield.
but it was really around Hope because Michael Douglas. We find him in our universe.
Whenever he shows up in the yellow jacket outfit, nothing good could come of it.
Well, there were no more women to beat. So
It's slap a hoe mode. He's in domestic violence level 3.
and I didn't the whole Loki is Fury thing I called pretty early on when he does the flip over. I'm like, oh, that's
Flip.
totally Loki.
I think that's right out of a shot. When he's doing the Matrix blocking kind of thing.
Yeah.
I'm like, huh? But I thought maybe
Nick
Fury
Fury
could do that.
Yeah, when he's punching.
But then when he
Yeah.
flipped over, I'm like, I don't know what this is. Again, Fury's a badass. It's, yeah.
You can buy so much, but then he starts doing fucking,
But he went to see Loki, so you knew. So it helped. It helped kind of figure it out. Like if they hadn't shown the scene where he goes to the.
And Natalia was like,
I don't know what that thing. It's not Eradicator, but whatever that steel character
Yeah.
is from Asgard. And he's like, I want to see your boss. Then you knew that like that final showdown. I mean, you assumed you got some Asgardian stuff going on.
I love because Natalia was like, why would all those guys just follow Loki? I'm like, because where this is placed, Loki has no fault in any of this. Yeah, he helped get Thor. He helped get Thor removed
this is right.
Thor.
This is right when Thor's being cast out. He's probably in the Odin sleep here.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I was like, as far as any Asgardian knows, Loki's brother just died. Was murdered. Asgard's gonna come down on those who murdered Thor.
Yeah.
You know. I was like, this is the universe of Loki winning. All his interactions come out on top. I don't know. I really like it. Again, I like the fact that I don't. Every time I turn it on, I don't know what I'm about to watch because I never saw any of the trailers. I don't pay any attention. I know.
I knew the titles of these episodes because the first 3 had been sent to critics that could give non-spoiler reviews. So I knew the titles of these. I don't know what the title of the 4th one is because I haven't really looked to see if it's been announced. I don't know if there's a trailer for it, but this 4th one is a total mystery. I do know from watching like a trailer for the series in general that I'm expecting something with zombies. I
know the zombie episode's coming soon. Yeah.
I'm expecting something that involves like a shot from the Avengers, the circle shot, but where some of the people are the T'Challa version of Star-Lord and Captain Carter in that shot. So that's why I think they're not done with those 2, and that we're gonna have some kind of like.
See, I didn't see none of that.
Some kind of Sliders, Exiles kind of thing, where you're gonna have characters from different multiverse ending up, interacting with each other. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, the 3rd one. The first time I watched it, I wasn't crazy about it, but then I watched it again. I was like, no, this was solid. It was just, I think it was just that the first 2 kind of set a course, and then
the 3rd one
was like
went way off.
Yeah, it was. In terms of like the idea, the general,
which I enjoyed
idea.
because it's like, oh, now we're in a space to where you're telling your own story.
Right.
You're not trying to follow anything to make the same like end result kind of work.
In theory, you could have retold any of those. You could have retold the story,
and even like
she didn't have to end up disappearing and returning in the 2, in modern times, and we didn't have to go down a similar path. I don't know. I guess the Ravagers, everything kind of changed. It wasn't following a Guardian story. They weren't looking for stones.
It was very loosely.
They weren't fighting.
It started that, but by the time it ended, obviously they went to a different direction to where they needed to go.
It's funny that they tease at the end of that 2nd episode the Kurt Russell and Peter Quill thing, but they're like, but that's a story. It was almost like a Conan ending. But that's a story for another day.
It's Was the Hulk's death satisfactory to you?
I mean, it was fine because how else do you kill him? He just enlarged his heart until his.
I just used pin particles, I guess, to expand his body until it couldn't.
Well, it looked like he did it specifically on his heart.
Oh, I thought it was like a blood cell or something.
No, it was like his heart.
Oh, I thought it was just a blood cell, but
I mean, even if it was a blood cell got too big and he exploded. I mean, whatever. I don't know how else you kill Hulk.
No, it's true.
It's got to be like kind of like one of those Fantastic Voyage things where you do something inside his body. So whatever. It was what it was.
The world finally got to see what would happen if the Pym suit was used to kill people internally.
Right. It's a pretty dangerous weapon, apparently. Yeah. Good thing.
See,
Project Yellow Jacket didn't go through.
I initially thought that it was going to be Project Yellow Jacket had gone through, and it's like, oh, this is that other. But then I'm like, this is way too early. But I was like, I know it's one of the suits. But yeah, I didn't call Michael Douglas. That was awesome, and the way they made him look, where he was just fucking crazed. Oh, it was so good.
It was, and it's funny, like, you got those guys doing voices,
but you can't get the original Avengers back.
Well, I feel like it's just, I don't know what the issue is. Like if it was a money thing, or just like
it might just be availability,
or that, or like those guys. Let's not waste their time.
Yeah.
If we're gonna waste their time, let's waste it on something.
Yeah. They've already made their mark.
Something like live action, or whatever.
Yeah, because if you're gonna get like Chris Evans for a few appearances, you got to make that shit count.
Yeah, if he's willing to do it. So yeah, I don't know what the 4th one is, but I'm looking forward to it. I do know. I mean, if they give me the zombies one, I feel like I'd rather wait on that one. I'd rather have something totally that I don't know what I'm getting.
I want Marvel Zombies to come back full bore because I need to sell those fucking. I have the entire original run of comics, and I'm just
but they're
comics aren't worth
it's just
shit.
time. That's not true. But
None of my comics are worth shit.
well,
There you go.
you gotta wait 20, 25 years.
Oh,
It's
okay.
like things. Here's the thing with collecting. Anyone expecting something to be worth a lot of money, fucking 5 years after they buy it, that's not. It's not the way it
It'll all
works.
be short term no matter what it is.
That's not.
Yeah.
That's not the way it works. Comics worth a lot of. Most of what I bought off the shelf is worth a lot of money now. I mean, but I started collecting the 80s and 90s, so I don't have any comics left. I got out of collecting a long time ago. But all that dumb shit dude, I bought probably one of the biggest books from that time period, like Spider-Man 300. I fucking bought that off the shelf for cover price, you know, that kind of shit. It's
I got like
if I knew now what if I could go back in time, I would just quietly collect and just buy everything I knew was going to be worth a fortune later,
and not just that,
whether it's baseball cards or
all that stuff. Yeah,
comics and
and
Star Wars toys, all that dumb shit.
and you don't place big bets, but you place enough bets to make good money off all the sporting events and shit as the years go by.
Yeah.
Your time travel, that'd be great.
Well, that's true too. Like, why would I even bother with any of that shit?
Yeah,
I just bet sports. You're
But
right. That's fuck it.
Because
I would just bet sports.
it's like, hey man, I've got
I would two things. I would bet sports and play the stock market. That's all you would need to do.
They're really you get there like 80, whenever like IBM went on the market or some shit like that.
Even if it was more recent, you'd Apple, Disney, fucking
all that shit, man.
Facebook, whatever. There's always one.
Yeah. And then everyone's like, hey,
Netflix.
Napster's the next big thing. You hold off. Napster's not what you think it is.
Right. Yeah. Let me tell you about something called Netflix.
Blockbuster will never get beaten. Let me tell you a story.
Listen, for a time, it would be a great stock to own.
Yeah.
And you got to know when to get out.
You get out the second Netflix becomes a household name. You see those red boxes at Walmart. You dive right out of fucking Blockbuster. Peace.
I think the red boxes are different than Netflix.
Do you know Netflix used to have? Did Netflix used to have those little
No,
red
they
boxes?
just mailed them to you.
That's right.
Remember they used to mail CDs to you?
Oh my god.
I mean, not CDs, DVDs.
DVDs. Well, CDs too.
DVDs. I thought it was DVDs and it was
Games.
Games.
Yeah. Because I remember Kevin had that Netflix. Like, I'll buy anything. Just get everything Netflix. When it was just that way, and then I remember when it first went, like the app first went up. Because when the app first went up, they were still selling. They still send you. In fact, they only stopped that a few years ago.
Did they stop it?
I think they finally did stop. I think they finally did stop.
That might be like something still.
I want to say maybe they still do it for games. I'm not sure.
I don't know.
But even games, like the new consoles, you just download the game now. Like, there's not a whole lot of like.
Yeah, but you got to pay for it.
Well, yeah, but you got to pay for it either way. So I guess
No. But if you're renting or buying, you got to buy the game to use it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I guess you can't like. There was a
rent.
rumor that Netflix was going to do some kind of gaming thing, but I don't think it happened yet. I don't know. I don't fucking play games. I have like no knowledge on that whatsoever. I think I read an article like fucking a month ago about it.
Yeah, I don't play games either.
Yeah, so you play lots of games, buddy. Games with my heart.
You're ridiculous.
Yeah, so we got a new Marvel coming out.
I mean, so are we?
I don't know what else is there.
The what ifs.
Like,
Did we cover it
it's
all?
so early. Is there anything else you really want to like hark on? I mean, the Chadwick Boseman thing was just like, you watch it, it's really cool, but you're just like, man, this is one of the last, because I think he appears in like two or three more.
Yeah, I don't know.
At least his voice does. But you're like, this was his episode, so you're like, this was it, man. This was like one of the last things he did. It's a little eerie, but they do him justice. It's, again, so far the Marvel what ifs have all been home runs. I've loved them all. Holy shit, we need to get going because you just shit yourself.
You smell that?
Holy fuck, do I smell that? Oh my god. Oh my.
You don't want to be in this closed room?
Oh my god, Ben.
Jesus
Christ.
I was waiting to see if it
Oh.
You know what's funny? It never crossed my path.
Oh yeah. Jesus
It came out my
Christ.
butt, and I thought, it must not smell. And then that was
that was a slow creep right there.
That was
man.
a delay. It must
That was a slow, because I got a hint and I'm like, no, like He farted like 2 minutes ago. There's no way. And now it's all over the olfactories. Oh.
All right. So.
And I've dealt with some poopy diapers, and that's and my own flatulence. Holy shit. Let's get the fuck out of here so I can breathe.
You sure you don't want to come?
Nah, I'm good. I'm good. I understand. This is the go home.
This is great because I never caught a whiff of it. Even now, I'm kind of like breathing through my nose and I don't catch anything.
We'll see.
I'm kind of curious what that smelled like to get you all fucking riled up.
It smelled
like
like pain, sir.
All right, quit breaking shit. All right, time to go.
Bye.